everyone, and welcome to my Flosstube video. So this is my channel, Coco Creates. I'm Zoe and this is Coco, and this is my channel all about my cross stitching and sometimes sort of knitting and crochet and other bits, but just stitching today. So yes, and I've got Coco on, and I have promised her that you will all be very nice to her because she has been to the salon and she has had her summer haircut. So she's all a little bit naked, but she still has her mane and she has a little feather duster. But yeah, but I promised her you would all leave her lots of lovely messages telling her how pretty she still looks, because she's very shy when she gets all her fur cut off. But with the summer being so hot, she really struggles with the heat, and it's, you know, it's the best thing for her. So yes, and she's probably going to go find somewhere to go back to sleep or find her toy. We've got her a new toy. It's like a little robot ball thing that sort of spins around underneath a sheet, and it runs around and she likes to chase it. So that's her new favourite thing. So yes. But anyway, 2 minutes in and all I've done is talk about, you know, the cat and no stitching. But so it's the start of July, so we're on the 2nd of July today. Oh, that was a bit aggressive. And yes, so this is going to be my June update, so what I was stitching last month, and I was going to do a separate video for my sort of 6-month review, but obviously it depends how long it takes me to get through, so it might all be one, or I might split it in half. We'll see how long the video ends up. But yes, so first of all, let's see what I was working on in June. So I did have a better stitchy month this month than last month. I actually, where are we? I only missed, well, not missed, I stitched on every day apart from 4. So I did stitch on almost every day. I don't know why I show you. Everyone else puts all lovely stickers on theirs, and mine's just the writing of what I worked on, how many. But yeah, there's only 4 empty squares this month, so and yeah, I mean, some days I didn't do very much. I think, you know, I think one day I did 60 stitches, so, and then, you know, obviously the days were a bit more sort of 700, I think 900 on one day. But yeah, so large variety of stitching. But yeah, it was quite nice to get back into sort of trying to stitch more often, and obviously I got a lot more progress for it. I even managed to do a roll on my Repopoli board, so there we go. Right, first of all, let's look at my Whipgo pieces. So Whipgo is sort of started or inspired by Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and especially a bingo board with 25 squares, 24 because the middle one I have as a free one, and every month she draws 2 numbers, and my numbers are all assigned to my 3 full coverage whips that I want to get a lot of progress on this year. So this month's squares, June squares, were Bath Time and my 3 baby dragons. What numbers did we have? Yeah, Bath Time and 3 baby dragons. So it was 21 and 23. And I worked on both of them, so I start my week working on them. So Monday through to Wednesday, Monday through to Thursday, I try and get half of my month's goal of each whip. So I think Bath Time came up first, and I do have it right here, so I'm going to try and lift it up and show it. I've extended the frame a little bit, so I think you can see all of my progress from this month. But yes, please hold while I dig it up. Okay, there we go. I've got it up. Right. So yes, my goal for this piece is 4,000 stitches per month, and this month I went just over, because I wanted to finish the stripe. So I work in 20 stitch diagonals, and I wanted to finish the whole stripe up at this top. So I did 4,156 stitches, and yeah. And that's where we got to. So yeah, I had I'd almost done everything below the bath. I think there's a tiny bit just below here that I did, like 50 stitches or something. You can't see because it's like rolled up, but it was just a bit of bath, so nothing exciting. Most of it was in here. So I finished her 2 tail fins, so there, and then we're just starting on the sort of curve of her tail that will come round into the bath now there. And yeah, that was another stripe done all the way at the top. So I think my next stripe down won't quite be at the bottom corner, but obviously once I go down and then come back up, the coming back up will be the bottom corner. So then I'll have hit 3 of my 4 corners, and obviously then once I hit that, my lines will be getting smaller, so I'll be able to get through them a bit faster. But yes, so there we go. And I'm hoping, because obviously the bulk of this bottom piece is more bath, and a lot of the bath is quite blocky stitching, so I'm hoping it will sort of speed up a little bit more. Sort of if I've got like large chunks of just one colour sort of thing, it's a bit easier to stitch. But anyway, this is on a piece of very, very fluffy. I think someone's been touching it. But a piece of antique white 25 count even weave, and I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross. This was my sort of first full coverage I started, so I'm not a fan of the 25. I find in places it does seem a little bit sparse, sort of in her hair that's quite dark and in parts of the bath. I'm hoping, obviously once I wash it, the threads will fluff up a bit, but I'm not planning on washing this until it's completely finished. We'll get there. But yes, oh, and these here, these are, you know what, my brain can't remember what they're called, but they are the things that you would get to keep your bed sheets on the bed. You know, like your fitted sheets, and then you would clip the 2 corners to keep the fitted sheet in place. That's literally what these are. And I just bought like a pack of 8 off of, I don't know, somewhere, maybe Dunelm or Amazon or something. I just bought a pack, and that's what I use to clip on. As you can see, my picture finishes here. Ooh, and here, so I have a really big border. So it is serged on both ends, the fabric, but because I had such a massive area here, I figured even if this did cause a little bit of damage, because like it's not really damaged the corners, but you can sort of sometimes see the indents, and it pulls sometimes a little bit just where the little sort of metal clip is. But I figured even if it did cause any damage, it's only going to damage like this much, and then I've still got this much border. So had I not had such a big excess of fabric, I probably wouldn't have used these, just because I'm a bit more conscious of it pulling too close to here. What I have seen someone do, and I think Dobby did this as well, I think it was her that saw it and then showed it on a video, is sort of they've sewn like a whip stitch around the edge and threaded like a chopstick or a dowel through it, and then sort of clipped the dowel to the edge of the frame, so that you're sort of pulling the whole edge of the fabric rather than just the 2 points. And obviously that will distribute the pulling a lot better. But yes, but that's what I've done. So yeah, so she's coming on, just her tail. She's very pretty. So I'm glad I started and had her face done first. And because without that part, I think it would have just been very boring. Like if I'd started in the bottom corner and come up and just had bath to do, it's like, you know, it's a bit boring. So whereas getting the fun bit done, it's like, no, I want to get it finished now because look how pretty it is. I think had I come up the other way and done the boring part first, I'd have been like, it doesn't matter if I finish it or not because it looks like really boring, and maybe the rest of it will look just as boring, so I'm not as excited. But anyway, there we go. I'm gonna put this one down again. Like, wait a minute. There we go. Right, so that was my first whip go piece, and my that was the photo I'll show. That's what it's going to finish look like. So yeah, so all of this here up until you get to where the flowers are, but this is all quite blocky, all this white and all this brown, and then down here is quite blocky as well. So a lot of the confetti I think was in this sort of the wallpaper, the background and the tail. So yeah, as I get down here, should be a bit easier. But yes, next up is my 3 baby dragons. This piece is by Shiny Suns Designs, and the artwork is from Misty Woodkey. And here is this. Now, someone did comment, I meant to go back on my previous video, someone did comment to let me know that Shiny Suns do now offer PDFs. I have emailed her, not the person that commented, I've emailed Shiny Suns, and I've also used the contact us through their website, but they've not got back to me quite yet. I don't know if she's like on holiday, because obviously it's summer, or what, but I'm going to sort of try again and email her and see if I can get hold of the PDF of this, because this one is still available on her website. So I figure if the chart is available on there, hopefully the PDF is as well. But yes, so, and it says to email if you want the PDF, so that's what I've done. But anyway, so thank you very much for telling me, for letting me know that. Yes, and this is what it'll be. And this one I'm starting in this corner and working this way. Again, because I wanted to get to a fun bit and do the dragon first rather than this way and doing candles. So yeah, so I start this way and come in. And the reason this had quite a big golden is even though this piece is a lot smaller, so this is 320 by 256, whereas I believe my bath time is 556 by 400. So this is about twice the size as this one. And then my Animal Kingdom that's behind me is about 4 times the size of this one, I think. This is the smallest of my full coverage, but this was the only one that I had on paper, and I was struggling with the paper copy, so I was trying to kind of force myself to zoom through this and get it finished quickly so that I didn't have to keep paying for markup XP sort of for 20 years while I do it. But anyway, enough of that. So I had dropped my goal down for this piece, so rather than the dragons being 4,000 stitches a month, they were just going to be 3,000, because then by the end of the year I would still hit over 40%. And I think I started the year on, was it 7 or 9? I have it written here somewhere. It was 9.6. So yeah, so less than 10 up to 40 was my goal. Hopefully I have a previously picture that I can add up, and this was 3,020 stitches that I put in. So basically it was almost a whole nother stripe. So I think I got up to here, and then it kind of just, you know, I didn't finish the stripe, I didn't need to. So how I work, this one's a 10 stitch stripe, mainly because the chart is very difficult to follow even with markup. Markup keeps messing up a lot of the symbols. So every time I highlight a symbol I have to look through and make sure it's highlighted all of the ones I need, and it's just a lot easier to do that on a 10 stitch section than a 20. But yeah, how I stitch is I take the colour and I work it up either as far as it goes, or to, you know, where I've got to count quite a bit for the next piece, and then I go back and pick the next colour and follow it up and do all my worked threads till they've all, and then fill in the gaps with new threads that I have to start up. And that's how I work all of my full coverages. So I do sort of park in the diagonal, but I don't restrict myself to sort of doing only like 10 stitches up and then the next 10 in the next. I sort of do a good chunk at a time. But yeah, so that's that one. So this is, where are we? So that's, we're just over halfway here, and this bit down here is the corner of this book there. So yeah, so we're almost towards this corner. We've got a good few more stripes to go to get quite to the corner, but you know, I think we should reach the corner by the end of the year if I keep myself on track. But yeah, so we're still in the getting longer section of the stripes. Obviously when I get to this piece it'll just be sort of filling in this little triangle, and then hopping over, because I cheated and did the did that whole black block kind of all at once right at the very start. When I started this, I was on holiday, so I basically took like a couple of skeins of black with me and figured, you know, wherever I started, I would just do the black only and work on that. So I sort of had gone down there and then across and then down this bit, because that was all the chunky black piece. But yeah, instead of taking all the colours with me. But yeah, so we're almost finished his first dragon. So like I said, we've got the eye. I don't know if we'll get the whole face in. I don't know if we'll get the whole face in on the next stripe or if it'll be the one after. But we'll see. So, and then yeah, so it's my first baby dragon. But yeah, so there we go. That was 3,020 on there. So that was my second whip go gold done. Oh. So 3 baby dragons is on 18 count white Ada, again with the call for DMC, same as the bath time was. Okay, so it did occur to me the other day why I always feel like I need to go speak faster and get through these really quick, because I tend to watch a lot of Flosstubes at sort of double speed back, so it means that they're obviously speaking very fast and getting through the projects quite quick, and then when I record the video I'm trying to match their speed, even though that was already twice as fast for them. So really I don't need to be going twice as fast as my normal self. But yeah, I think it's just kind of got in my head that's the speed to do a Flosstube, because I watch everyone at 1.5 or double speed. So I think I need to like start watching people at normal speed again so that I can remember what normal speed is. But anyway, next up, so that was my 2 whip go pieces done. And then my next goal, so this was my New Year New Start, and this is Red Christmas by Jardin Privé. There, exciting. Here we go. So this is Red Christmas. I am doing the green version, which is pictured on the back. And where is it? Oh, I put these on my board like back to front. So there we go. Let's flip you over there. Okay, so this is my progress so far. So try and straighten up. So there we go. So as you can see, I remember, let me rest my elbow. There we go. I was saying that I was going to come across and do this middle section so that I didn't have to do the border. However, once I got the paperwork, the chart out for that, I realised that this middle section was like half of these baubles and down, and I thought, well, I can't like do half of the bauble because the top of the bauble and this sort of border across the top where all the baubles are hanging from is in this page, so I can't do this page and just like have all the random baubles suspended. Like it was going to be lots of ends trailing across the back and counting and sort of thing. I thought you know what, I thought that, you know, it's a bit too much for that. I thought I will just come up and we'll see how we get on. Also, because it occurred to me that this is the last page that doesn't have border. So obviously only two of my sections, 12 sections, don't have a border, and I've done one. So I thought, so I'll see if I can save that for, you know, a really busy month. But yeah, so I did work up and I did finish the page. And the page was sort of, you know, the bottom of those 2 baubles I did finish, but it was sort of just there and sort of just, you know, to there, kind of this symbol, that's where the page break is, so it's not quite finished. But yeah, so we've got these ones done, this big snowflake, yeah, and quite a few of the baubles done. And there's quite a big bauble to go down here, and I think there's another one that comes down there to do. But yeah, and then I got the star on the top of the tree, a little star there, and yeah, and then finished the word Christmas. I think that was all that was in, and then the border. So yeah, so that's what I did this month, and that was 2,278 stitches. so not too bad. I think how many days did that take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, five days. So like the best part of a week. Although one of those days I did do over 1,000 stitches, which was quite a lot. So yeah, so that was the day I stitched the most. Was 1,006 stitches. I think that was a day when I was doing these baubles, because it was very easy to go, oh, just one more, just one more bauble, you know, just one more, just one more, and it was like just wanting to finish the whole bauble. So yeah, it was quite like, what's the word? You know, when you're reading a book and it's like, oh, just one more page, like, you know, you enticing sort of thing. What's the word? There is a word for that, isn't there? I'm sure you all know what the word is, but you're probably shouting at the screen. But yes, that is. So this is using the DMC colours as called for on the back of the chart for the green, and I'm doing this over 2, 1 strand over 2 on a piece of 40 count even weave. Now this even weave seems very thin, like you can't, it doesn't look thin, like you can't see it through the camera, but it is, you know, if I'm trailing the thread behind, you can really see it, especially these sort of the darker sort of greens. I mean, this light one that's in the words isn't too bad, but the dark really stands out when you trail it, so it's lots of sort of having to sort of stop and start and sort of do each motif on its own, sort of no trailing between them. But you know, we're getting there. You know, it's a different way of working it, you know, having to think about how I'm going to stitch to make sure that if I do have to jump across any little gaps, it's like I'm jumping across the closest point that the stitches are together, so that my sort of like my loose thread on the back, my sort of tail is kind of only going to be visible between like 1 or 2 crosses as opposed to 4 or 5, so there's only going to be little lines. So yeah, it's you know, it's good having to sort of try and think that through. It kind of makes it a bit interesting, trying to plan out how I'm going to stitch and which order to make sure that my thread end is going to be in the right place for the next motif and that, which is quite fun. But yes, one thing I'm thinking about with this one, just because like I said in my previous video, I sort of don't seem to be working on anything apart from my 2 whip go pieces and then these 2, and then that's the end of the month, and I'm not really getting much chance to work on other stuff. So I thought, with it being July this month, I might try and do a Christmas in July day and see if I can do maybe a 24 hours of cross stitch, and just do this project for 24 hours and sort of see how much I can sort of get done, so that then for the next sort of few months it would sort of shrink the amount that I need to stitch each month. So I'm thinking, well, I might sort of work on the border and just see how far round I can get my border done, and then obviously going into sort of the next few months, the next sections when I pick them, the border will already have been done, so I'll only have the kind of inside sections to do, so it'll be a bit less stitching. But yeah, so I might be planning to do that one day this month. I need to get the calendar out and plotting all of my sort of appointments and things, and see what I've got spare. But yes, so we'll see what we can do on that one this month. But as I said, there was 4 pieces. So this is the other gold piece that I've got, and this is the Greenhouse of Oddities. So now I didn't get to this one last month, but I did manage this month, and I actually managed to catch up and do both sort of July's section and both June's section and the one I'd missed in May. So May's section was this planter here, and we've got a couple of plants, and then June was this tree here. So let's have a look and see what I stitched up. So I have the list up on my phone of what we've been stitching. So this is a Lola Crow design, and Lola Crow, on her sales, she's included an information sheet on all of the items that are in contained in her sales. So all of the plants, all of the animals, the people, there's little information cards. And she has done the same thing for her aquarium and aviary sales that I've got, so I'm looking forward to those as well. Let's have a look. So piece number 4, which was the maze section. So we had this planter here that we filled in. Then we've got these plants here. These are pitcher plants, Venus flytraps here, and then a little rat just there. And this section was called the carnivores because both pitcher plants and Venus flytraps are carnivores. They eat, well, meat, you know, they eat flies and things. So so let's see. So we've got the Venus flytrap. Shall I chance trying to read the Latin out? It is Dinea muscipula. There you go. So this is found in North and South Carolina in the USA, and they're well known of the carnivorous plants, eating insects, spiders, slugs, worms, and even small frogs. The traps only stay closed and begin digestion if the plant detects motion. And this is the Venus flytrap doesn't require insects to survive, so it just uses them as supplemental fertiliser. So they don't even have to eat, but if something gets a bit too close, they just chomp chomp, like, yes please. And yeah, so the Venus flytraps, so you can see they have little sort of feathery fronds that stick out, and then kind of the pinky inside. Now, the pinky inside is quite sweet smelling, so it attracts the insects. So it's like has a sugary substance sort of thing on it. It's quite sticky, but also it has the smell that would attract the insects, thinking, oh, that's food. So the flies come, the bugs, the slugs, anything comes and sits down on this little pad here, and they can actually get stuck. So it means they can't fly away straight away. And these little feathery bits sort of come down like fingers, and they will kind of enclose it. And then once they've kind of come down, it's all sticky and they're inside, and that's it. They've got no chance of getting out. And then the plant kind of curls all in, goes munch, 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 curls all in like that, and then digests them alive. So that's how they eat. So yeah, I probably should have made sure you all weren't eating first before we went into this section. So, you know, hopefully it's not too graphic. But yes, and then down here we have the pitcher plants. So these, I suppose they're called pitcher plants because they're a bit like, you know, like a jug pitcher, that sort of shape, and they have lids. And these are the giant pitcher plants, Nepenthes raha. These are found in Malaysia, Indonesia. It says the giant pitcher plant can hold nearly a gallon of liquid. They trap frogs, lizards, birds and small mammals, and also share a symbiotic relationship with flies, midges, spiders, mites, ants and mosquitoes. They make their home, so those creatures make their home inside the pitcher plants, obviously getting shelter from other predators, but then they also help in the breakdown of the little creatures that the pitcher plants eat. So yeah, so and how these work is again they're full of a liquid that's kind of enticing to the to creatures, so sort of sugary, sweet energy, kind of smelling food, and the creatures will come along and they'll creep up the side of the pitcher plant, and they'll come down inside because they want to get what's in here, and you know they'll either slip down or hop down, and then they realise they've made a boo-boo, because the insides of these pitcher plants are really slippy and you can't crawl back out. Sometimes this top will come over as well, so it stops them jumping out because they can't see a way out because it's sort of almost a hood over the top. And the liquid that they thought was all sweet and yummy starts to digest them a bit. So yeah, that's how they work. And obviously you've got some symbiotic insects that will sort of live inside, and they will also help to break down the you know, dead frogs and slugs and bits and bobs that live inside. So yeah, so that's how they ones work. But yeah, so slightly, I suppose, less traumatizing. We then have the what is it? The summit rat that is also found in Malaysia, and she is just sitting there, so you can see a little tail coming round and a little nose up there. This rat has a mutual relationship with the giant pitcher plant, as it feeds on the juice from the lids, so anything that's remaining on the lids, so it drinks that juice, and then it poops into the pitcher plant to make fertilizer. So yeah, so sometimes the rats might fall in, but they're not the plant's actual prey. But you know, if they get a bit too close, they might fall in and whoopsie daisy. But you know, normally they just eat the sort of sugary substances on there, and then poop inside onto to act as fertilizer. But yeah, so the smart rats managed to not slip inside, and they live quite well. So that was our carnivorous plants and creatures, and then my June section was this tree here, which looks quite interesting. And it's not actually the tree that we're looking at this time. What we're looking at is this yellow plant, which is a parasite. So it's called Cascata europea, but it has quite a lot of common names, that's the word. So it's called the Cascata, or the dodder, or witch's hair, or devil's hair. It's found in quite a large area, so Europe, Africa and Asia. So, and it's this yellowy substance that sort of just hangs like fronds from the plant or the tree. And it's a parasitic vine, so it doesn't have any leaves of its own, so it doesn't make chlorophyll, so it can't get energy from the sun like other plants do. So what it does is the stem winds around a host plant. So in this case, there's some sort of tree has been growing here, and it's wound itself all around this tree, and it sucks all of the energy it needs, all the nutrients, straight out of the tree. Eventually there'll be too many vines, and it kind of will completely, you know, engulf the previous plant. And from what I read, it's sort of, obviously once it's completely sort of engulfed the other plant sort of dies. And I'm like, I don't know what then happens to this, whether it sort of continues to sort of vine along to find another tree, because that sounds like a very bad parasite. Like, most parasites don't kill their host. Like, that's the point, is you want the host to live as long as possible so that you can continue to parasitize it, because if you kill the host, then you will also die, and that is a very, like, you know, bad way of trying to live. So I'm not sure if that's what happens, or if they sort of, if that's how they reproduce, is obviously once all the nutrients are out of the tree, they would then sort of seed off, and you know, like that's how then they would then sort of, I don't know, like go to seed sort of thing, and so this would die, but then other plants would live on, and that's how it sort of reproduces. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. There was a couple of different things that it did, and I'm like, don't quite get that one. But yes, so that's our parasite. So yeah, can't even tell what the tree is. So because it's been completely engulfed by this yellow, all these yellow fronds. But yeah, so that is June's piece as well. So we're all caught up. I haven't looked to see what July's bit is, so I don't know where we're going on here. I know there's obviously some more gaps in the, I need to put more than one clip up there. There's some more gaps in the greenhouse, so I know there's another plant that'll go up here. But obviously we've not even made it into these two corners yet, so I don't know which direction we're going to go with next. And I know there's also a plant that goes in the middle here, because that is where my sister started, so I know there's something there. But yeah, and there we go. So we're getting there. Did I say how many stitches that was? That was 1,790 stitches. And that is, oh, let me put this back on charge. There we go. Yeah, that's so that was my greenhouse, and I finished that one on the 28th of June. So that was, all my 4 pieces were finished, which meant I had 2 days left in the month to pick something to work on. And so I figured I would get my We're Properly board back out and see what we could find. And this, you know, I would say my mum's weren't great, but yeah, I did end up getting quite far around on this board. So I think my first roll was it. I can't remember what each roll was now. I think my first roll was a 10, and I got onto the corner section, which was I've got my board here, so I'll pop it out. Which was the stock exchange. So that meant that I could swap the next project I landed on to a project of my choice, which is fine. But then the next square that I landed on, I rolled a 6. So I ended up landing in the tunnel, which then obviously zoomed me across from the middle right to the outside corner. But it still wasn't a whip, so I had to roll again, and I rolled a 5. And that landed me on Illusion, which is my Bothy Threads chameleon piece. But that's quite a job, that piece. It's a lot of confetti in it, so I thought, do I really want to put in that many stitches into something with that much confetti, you know, after all the others I've worked on? And I had a look through and I thought, no, I remember my, you know, when I did my 5-year recap and I was going through my projects, there was one project that I pulled out that I was like, I can't believe this is, I'm still working on this after 5 years. I really want to get this piece finished. I have a bunch of others in this style that I want to work on. Let's swap it to that. So I swapped it to my Portrait of Veronica, so my Mirabilia. So this is my Marie Curie piece. And I've sort of started, so how these charts appear is you have one piece of paper that's 2-sided, and sort of the top half is on one side, the bottom half is the other. So I'd already worked most of the top, apart from her skin. So the chair and the top of the dress had already been worked, and I was starting on her skin there. But I still had the bottom of this dress, which is all pretty much from that line down. So all of this still to work on. So I thought, right, we'll get this out and we'll start working on this piece. I did toy with doing the skin, but I thought the skin is, no, there's no way I'm putting that many stitches into the skin, because obviously to get to my project, I'd actually rolled 21, a total of 21 on my dice, because I'd had to roll 3 times. And I had said at the start of the year that I was going to max out at 2,000 stitches. So no matter how many rolls it took me to find a project, I was going to cap it at the 2,000, because, you know, if I hadn't have landed on a whip then, if I'd landed on a community chest or a chance, I'd have then had to roll again. And, you know, if you kind of rolled the wrong numbers, you can end up having to repeat to land on a street, you know, a street name. So I capped out at 2,000. I'd rolled 21, but I capped it at 2,000. So I thought, right, 2,000 stitches over 1 of all that skin. No, so I thought, let's do this dress. I didn't take a picture of where I started, so hopefully I can insert like my previously, like my New Year parade, whip parade. There we go, whip parade picture. But here is where I got to. So I finished filling in this bit. I'm sort of working this. I'm kind of parking again, so working sort of a 10-stitch stripe all the way along, give or take. So I sort of worked this part of the dress, and then I just filled in all of this. I'm leaving all my beading until last, hence the little holes that are scattered around. These are all going to be beads. And then I came back over here to start the next row. I think I need to do, once I do a full stripe across, I think then it would be my 2000. So I actually managed 880 stitches before the end of the month on this. So I still have a little bit more to do, which I'm going to have to fit in this month. But yeah, and you can sort of see, I think my line ends about here, and I have just carried it on in a few bits because I don't want a harsh line of where it stopped. But also, I don't want to continue, say, this little stripe here, and then kind of get my counting off and find that the whole dress now has to be shifted one stitch to the left. So I am just sort of trying to do 10-ish stitches all the way down and all the way along. But yeah, so there we go. I still love these colours. So we've got the sort of 3808 and 3810 in here, and then 3847 and 959. These sort of bluey, light blue ones, yeah, which are very pretty. But yeah, so as you can see, I've still got the rest of her hand to do, and then sort of her other arm, which pops out here, and her chest and face still to do there. I suppose with that being over one, obviously it'll be 4 times as many stitches as if I'd done it over 2. So I think equivalent, the amount of stitching I've got to do in sort of her face and her arms and that and her hair is probably about what I've got left to do in this dress. So we'll probably, you know, I'll probably try and do my 2000 in this bottom bit of the dress, and then this next time I pick it out, I'll go back to the skin, and we'll sort of alternate like that to get it worked through, so that I don't leave all of one bit to the end. But yeah, this is on the called for threads, called for fabric. I think I got the pack from Hawkins Hobbies, so which came with all the called for materials. This fabric is, I'm not a fan of this fabric, whereas I haven't got the pattern with me. I think it's the Witch Out fabric. It's a 32 count. I know that, and it's okay to work on. It's very slubby, the linen. You know, I'm quite lucky where the head's going to sit. There aren't too many sort of slubby bits, but some bits down here, you know, I'm looking, and yeah, it's sometimes even hard to tell where I'm going over 2, so where the over 2 is, because one bit is such a big slub, then the next bit's so tiny, you have to really concentrate to make sure you are going over 2 each time. So yeah, and I do have to sort of tease out sometimes a bit of the slubs. But yeah, trying not to then get rid of the whole strand, because then I'll end up with a hole. So it's not my favourite fabric. And also, like, this is a brand new Q-snap that I've got. Brand new, so much so that I really struggle to get it on and off of some of my other projects. And so that's how tight these are, and they're barely holding this fabric with any tension. I could physically tighten the fabric on my own to pull it straight through. So the fabric is so thin that even these Q-snaps have no grip on it. So yeah, it's, you know, I normally keep my frame drum tight, and this is, you know, it's really loose, really baggy. So yeah, not a big fan of this. I think I'll need to remember that next time I get it out to work on, I'm going to have to get some extra fabric out to put a line of fabric in between my sort of Q-snap and the clamp, just to give it a bit more grip. But yeah, so all on here I've got my new Agnes, which was the octopus with the clover for St Paddy's Day. But yeah, so I have 1200 stitches, well 1120 left to do on this one before I can put it away. So that is going to have to be fitted in this month as well. You know, because I can't roll again on my Repopoli board if I haven't finished the roll from my previous one, you know. So that will be fitted in. Obviously my new whip go rolls, so Jessie has re-rolled. Hello, come on, help. There we go. Right, Jessie has re-rolled for July, and the squares, we've got number 2 and number 20? No, number 16. No, I can't count. 5, 10, 50, 16, yeah. It's because I haven't numbered my squares. So, yeah. So number 2 and number 16, which are actually 3 baby dragons and bath time again. So same 2 pieces again this month. So I'll be working on those. Hopefully my greenhouse piece, so the next piece, hopefully it'll only be 1 piece, so it should be about 800-ish, 900 stitches. It's about the size of the individual sort of segments, plantings. And then Red Christmas, I'm hoping to do a 24-hour block on, so do my monthly, my month's section, the corner, and then do a 24-hour bonus to try and see how much of the border I can get done for that. And then hopefully there'll be time so that I can also fit in my the last, like I say, 1100 stitches of Veronica. I'll probably keep her out and just sort of work on her in between everything else, because it's doing that dress is quite nice and blocky, so it's quite nice to just have a block of one colour to work on for a little while. So yeah, but yeah, so they're my goals for this month. Yeah, so what else have we got? A couple of shout outs. So I wonder what that was. I'm sitting on my phone. I wondered what that was. Right, a couple of shout outs. So I have added them to my shout out playlist. Hopefully you can see that. I know I mentioned it last time. I don't think anyone's mentioned that they could or couldn't find it, so I don't know if anyone looked or found it or didn't find it. I don't know. If you do go looking for it and you can't find it, let me know, because obviously I've set it up wrong and I'll see what I can do, but we'll work that out. So so I've added on two new people that I found this month. So one is, well, I mean, they're both very new, I suppose. So one lady is Rebecca, so Crafting with Rebecca, and I think she's done 3 videos so far at the minute. 3 videos so far. And one thing she is working on is the Peppermint Purple Sal, and she's done the one with the doily effect border, and it was really, I really had to grit my teeth to not think, to not go and start that one as well. I thought, no, I've got my what's it called? Begins with S. My other sort of daily black work one, the Steady Thread. That's it. I've got their one that's still as a whip from 2 years ago. I thought, so I can't start another one. I thought I need to finish one first. But yeah, it was like it's so pretty. But I was like, nope, I'm a big good girl. I'm not going to start. So, and the next person I found is the Red-Headed Stitcher, and she has just done a giveaway, and it runs until the 11th of July. So you've still got time to go and enter. For her 200 subscribers giveaway. So yeah, so her most recent video, so you have to head over there. And also Dobby is back. So finally, she's got another video up with sort of her progress the last few months and where she's been and what she's going to be doing next. But yes, so go and catch up with her. But yes, I think that's it. One last thing that I did want to mention before I go is the giveaway winners, kind of like smushed that together a bit too hard there. The giveaway winners for my 5-year Flosstube anniversary. So I did do a YouTube live this morning. It took me a while to work it out. I hope it's okay. I did then go on and watch it back, and it seemed okay. It did seem to cut off a little bit too soon, so I don't say goodbye at the end because I cut myself off a bit fast. So I'm like halfway through a word and it just. So, but I did do a live with drawing the winners, and I think it worked okay. So obviously go and head over to that, see if you won, and who won. But I'm thinking, well, now I've kind of worked it out that I can do a live. I don't know if anyone would be interested in doing a live, so like a stitch with me sort of live and sort of stitch and chat sort of thing. Obviously, whether anyone would be interested in that, I'll see if I can do it right. Let me know if you'd be interested in having one of those sort of every so often, every month or whatever. But yes, so that is everything. Yeah, so I'm going to do my 6-month recap. So it's I'm not going to do a whip parade because honestly I don't have time or energy to get everything out that I've worked on. So, but I do want to go through and do a little bit of a recap and goals for the rest of the year. Okay, so my 6-month review. I took some time to actually put all of my stitching, my numbers, into a spreadsheet. So out of my sort of stitchy diary, into a spreadsheet, so I could sort of see obviously what I'd worked on and what I hadn't worked on, but also check my numbers as well, because I made that add it all up for me, which was quite nice. So I could just make sure I'd added things right, because a couple of times I didn't, and I did have a look at some of the numbers, and I was like, I can't. I was like, that's not a lot, like, that can't be that. I was like, okay. And then actually when I corrected the spreadsheet, I was like, oh no, it's not that. That makes sense. Coco, this is not helping. Are you done? Am I going to have to put it over here? Okay, so yeah, I made a spreadsheet and added everything that I'd worked on, but all of my whips as well are on there. And I can see I didn't do too bad with what I've worked on. So let's see. Let's zoom out a bit. Right. Actually, of all of my whips, so I think I started. How many did I start the year with? I started the year with. That's the one thing I didn't count up, did I? Actually, there's no point in me counting because I know I UFO'd a couple of bits off of there. So I think once taking off the couple of bits I'd UFO'd, that left me with, what was it, 35 whips, because I've had 6 new starts this year so far. So, which has put me up to 41. But out of those 41 whips, I've actually worked on 20 of them. So I've touched about half of my whips, which was more than I thought. You know, I thought I'd barely worked on anything. I mean, fair enough, yeah, some of the progress, it was like, you know, 200 stitches here, you know, there's like, and 200, yes, there's a couple that only had like 200 stitches on. I mean, some had, you know, up to 1,000, but, you know, apart from my 4 big ones, 5 big ones, sorry, so my 3 that are on my whip go, and then my Christmas and my greenhouse, everything else sort of haven't had that much progress. But, you know, I have touched quite a few. So I think for the next 6 months, I think I would like to, so that's 20 out of my 41. I think by the end of the year, I'd like to have touched at least 30. So I think I need to get at least 10 more projects worked on this year. I think I would be happy with. More than that would be great. Like, I'd like to touch everything, but I think at least another 10. I think I would be happy with that one. So a couple of finishes I had were the like my Country Cottage Needleworks, like the little village that's the monthly village sale. Obviously I started and finished January, but there's like 11 more months, so I do want to, you know, get some more months done. So I think, you know, I'd like to get at least 1, if not 2 more months cracked out this year. I started that one at the retreat in March, and I've got another retreat in September, so I'll probably take February to start for then, and hopefully get February's done this year. Might be able to squeeze another one in, I don't know. So, but yes, so I had three finishes so far. So obviously one of them being that sal. What else did I finish? I finished my twinkles, my little star piece. and then my skull sale that I had right at the start of the year that I just had a wee bit of progress left to make. Yeah, I put in about 2,000 stitches at the start of the year and got that finished, but that was quite a big finish. I do still need to get it framed. I'm still looking for like quite a nice sort of gothic-y ornate frame for it, like it's quite sort of decorative. I might have to just find a random, you know, frame that's decorative and then sort of paint it black instead, because I'm really struggling to find a specific black one. So I might have to just have a shop around and see if I can find, you know, a wooden one or a coloured one, and then get some black paint out and make it black myself. You know, that would work, I think. But anyway, apart from that, so how many days I've stitched, this actually really surprised me. So out of the 180 days of the year that I've had so far, I've worked out on 152 of them. So that's not too bad. It's 30 days-ish that I've missed, which is a whole month of stitching that I'm short on. But, you know, over the whole, like, first half of the year, that's like, I've done 5 out of 6 months. So, you know, that's quite good. So I think I'd like to match that again. I think for the rest of the year, I think if I can do, you know, miss just 30 days out of the rest of the year, I think I'd be looking at ending the year with quite a lot of progress done, like that I want. In terms of my total stitches for the year, I've done almost 83,000. I'm 40 stitches away from 83,000 stitches. So, you know, I think that's probably a bit more than I thought. I thought I was averaging about 10,000-ish for each month. Obviously a couple of months I've done a lot more than that, so yeah. So I think it would be fun to try and hit 200,000 by the end of the year, so I would have to do, you know, a bit more than that for the second half of the year. But we'll have to see. Like some days my coordination's okay and I am sort of stitching almost as much as I used to be able to. But other days I'm still sort of really struggling to get my hands to do the movements. There's sort of days where, yeah, I stitch like 60 stitches in a day. So, you know, we're getting there slowly. Yeah, obviously my aim for the year was I was banking my stitches, so I was having my stitchy allowance, and I think even if because I didn't count my Coco piece because I'd landed on my free start square on my Will Properly board, so which I was able to use for that. But I think even if I had counted it, I've earned enough stitches that I would have been able to take it out of my allowance and still have some stitches left, which is really good, because it means so far the amount of stitches that I have to do is less than what I started with. So even if I've got, obviously I have 3 extra projects than I did have, sort of a net 3, you know, I started 6, finished 3, so 3 left. But even with those extra 3 projects, I still have less stitches left to do overall. Does that make sense? I don't think I'm wording this very well. So it makes sense to me. But yeah, so what I was doing, I was basically adding up how many stitches I did for the month, and then cutting that in half, and then adding that half to my stitchy allowance, that I could then trade in that number of stitches for a new start. So if my new start was 5,000 stitches, I would be taking 5,000 off of my allowance. So, and obviously, so out of the 83,000 stitches that I've done, so I was halving that, which was about what, 41,500, so 41,000. I've only used what, about 10, 11ish of those, because I still have 30,000 left in my allowance. Now Coco, if I take a her piece, that piece was about, I think we worked at 20 22,000. It didn't come with a stitch count, so I kind of estimated it from the total size. But that still leaves me with, you know, 9,000 left over in surplus. So I'm quite happy with that. Like I do want to finish the year with stitches, you know, left over in my allowance. And sort of I will be including like any potential sort of new year, new starts. I do want to be accounting for those out of this allowance, so that I have to have earned those new starts this year rather than starting next year in a deficit already, sort of thing. So I'm not sure what I will be starting for the new year. I haven't got that far yet, so I haven't decided too much. I know there is a chart that I do want to do that is in the Cross Stitcher magazine. It was a one that you got like one piece each month that came in the magazine, and it's like a year's wheel. I can't remember what it's called. What these wheels are called. So my other cat's crying because she's talking to the birds outside, so I hope you can't hear her. But yeah, anyway, so you do, it's a circle, and like each segment of the circle is a different month or a different. If I can put a photo in, I will. But I am hoping to start that. But I was thinking I might have to finish one of my other yearly projects first. So I have my Cottage Needleworks, my little villages, but I also have my cottage garden samplings, a year in the woods, which is also, you know, a yearly one. Obviously they're a lot bigger than the Cottage Needleworks ones, and then you got the tiny little village and then the big ones. But I thought, well, I've got those two, and what else have I got on there? Have I got any other like I mean, I've got the steady thread, the blackwork one, which was 1 square per week to do. Yeah, and that was it. That was the only one that had like a monthly amount. So I think I need to get, you know, I'd like to get one of those sort of finished. But then it's obviously they're both, you know. I mean, yes, the little villages are very small, but I think they still worked out to what, about 5. What did I account for? About 3,000 stitches each. So, you know, I've got 11 left to do. So that's 3,000 times 11. That's what, 33-ish thousand more stitches. That's like what, three months of stitching. Like if I only stitch those, it would take me 3 months to get through them all. Which I'm not going to do. Like by the end of the year, you know, in the next 6 months, I'm not going to spend half of them just on those. I've got all my other goals to do as well. So it's thinking, well, if I was going to have a new start, what do I go for? You know, do I go for something like that, or do I think, no, I can't start that one until I've finished my other annual one. So let's have a look and see what else to start. But I don't know. I'm not sure why I'm asking, because it's not like you're gonna, because everyone will give me a different idea if you're giving me ideas to do, and I've got about 73 different projects that are already like charted or kitted or whatever here. You know what, that might be what I do. I might start one of my kits. I might do a kit start as my new year, new start. Because I know I have a bunch of kits upstairs. I have like a big box that I keep all of my kits in upstairs that are, you know, kits that are not started yet but kitted up. So yeah, so I might, that's it. Yeah, so there we go. So it did help discussing it with you all. So thank you very much for that idea. But yeah, that might be what I look at starting is one of the kits, because I do, you know, I have so many patterns like on my, you know, online that you buy the PDFs for as well. But you know, I need to start something I actually already have kitted up, fully ready to go, fabric, threads, everything. So yeah, so we're going to go through that towards the end of the year. But it depends, obviously, which piece I start will depend how many stitches I've managed to save up in my stitchy allowance. Because obviously whatever's left, that's all I can spend. So it might be that I can only start a small kit, or it might be that I can start a bigger one. So yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see what my allowance has left me with, and then I'll pull out probably any projects that would fit within that allowance, and you can all help me decide towards the end of the year. So yeah, so there we go. So now we have a plan. Check that out. See how organised we are. There we go. But yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. So I think they're my goals for the rest of the year. So my whip go, I have managed to keep up so far. I know I did drop the goal size for my 3 baby dragons, but this month I did those 3,000, and actually that was an acceptable amount to do. So, you know, going forward, I think that's what I'm going to stick with there. So it'll be 3,000 stitches for my dragons per square, and then 4,000 for the bath time and the animal kingdom. 6 more months of that would get us good progress with those two. I want my red Christmas finished. I want my greenhouse finished. So that will be sort of 2 sort of big finishes for the end of the year. And yeah, and I want to work on. I want to work at least 150 out of the next 184 days that are in the year. 85, I can't count. 185 days that are in the year. And I would like to try and aim for the 200,000 stitches by the end of the year. So like I said, 83,000 so far. So, you know, it's going to be a push to get to the 200,000, but you know, we'll see. You know, if I can get you know, good couple of days sort of each month, that I can sort of do a lot of progress in a day on. I think we might get there. We'll push for it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, and that's everything. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching me. Obviously over the last 5 years and the last 6 months of this year, and yeah, I will see you soon. So again, let me know if obviously any of you'd be interested in joining me for a sort of Stitch With Me live or anything, and I will see if I can set one of those up. You know, we'll see. I mean, I just about managed to cobble through the little live I did with you know, with my giveaway draw. So you know, we'll see if I can do it again and what happens. But yes, anyway, Coco's found some little parts of sunshine to sit in. I don't know if I can. Haha, there she is, Coco. Yeah. So, but yes. So I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. If you have sunshine to enjoy. And you're staying cool or staying warm, as the case may be, and staying safe, and I will see you all soon. So I love you lots, and bye from me.